Hey everybody, Carla Silver here. Welcome to our Extreme Team Hangout. I am so excited to be here with everybody tonight, and congratulations to everybody on the Extreme Team. We're making some noise over here with all of the team. I was on our Facebook page today, and it looks like we have a boatload of new customers. We've got all kinds of things going on, and we meet at this time every single week. To train, or typically every single week unless we're at an event or something is conflicting, to train on various things, to talk about personal development, all kinds of things that we can help you grow your business. And of course, as John asked me to mute my thing, and of course I didn't do it, so hold on a second. Here we go. I am back. Sorry about that. Thought I had that handled. Listen, you know, in a traditional business, let's say that you're going to be a shoe salesman and you're going to open a shoe store, right? And you're going to have your own Nordstrom shoe store. You have to have products to sell. In this case, you're selling shoes, right? And you have to find customers, right, to come to your store, and then you have to be able to convert those customers to sales. It doesn't matter what you're selling. If you're selling insurance, shoes, you're a plumber, you have a service like you're a lawyer or a doctor, it's all the exact same thing. And as internet marketers, what do you have to have? You have to have an amazing offer or a product or service, right? In this case, we are in front of the Empower Network suite of services, suite of products, which, by the way, in my humble opinion, is probably the best education that anybody could ever invest in. It's a world-class education in internet marketing, entrepreneurship, and leadership, with a big L on the leadership part. So we have products, and then you have to have a way to get people in the door. And typically, for most businesses, that is the most challenging aspect of their business. So you think about it, right? You're passionate about your shoe store or your pet store, right? And you love pets, and you love cats and dogs, and you love everything about them. And what you want to do is you want to work in your pet store. You want to sell pet products. Most business people don't want to know how to market their business, right? It's a complete left turn for most individuals that are entrepreneurs. But it's essential to your business. Well, the same thing is true here online. You have to have products, you have to have traffic or people coming to look at your products or services, and then you have to be able to convert them, right? So everybody that is watching this webinar has experienced this, I am sure, right? You've purchased something online. You've looked for somewhere, whether you searched for it on Google or Amazon, or you ran into an ad somewhere, you got an email. Then you went into somebody's virtual store and maybe looked at a video or looked at books on Amazon and checked it out, and then either you bought or you didn't, right? Well, we do the exact same thing here. It's not anything different than anything else, except for that we're very only focused right now, at least I am, on selling Empower Network products to people and business owners that want to learn how to market their businesses, and of course to individuals that want to become affiliates of Empower Network and market the Empower Network suite of products themselves. So the biggest question that most business owners have, whether you're in network marketing, multi-level marketing, you sell affiliate products online, or you're a regular business owner, a brick-and-mortar business owner, as I was talking about before, is how do I find customers, right? That's the big question. So tonight, we're going to talk about how each one of us got our first sale, right? How we got our first sale, and then how we got our second sale, and then how we got our third and fourth and fifth and sixth, and sale after sale after sale after sale after that. Because that's the meat blood of our business, right? That's what we're here for, is to make sales and, of course, build our financial future, and then build your financial future. So I'm going to actually bring out the gentleman that I got started with. I've known him for over 10 years ago, 10 years at this point, and I want him to go first specifically because what I found for me when I got started here is that I really just wanted to follow somebody that had already had the level of success that I was looking to have for myself. That's actually one of my basic principles in life, period, right? I don't want to make things complicated. If I want to learn how to surf, I'm going to find somebody that learns how to surf and then do what they do. Well, I applied that principle when I got started here at Empower Network, and I was really just following my leader. And I want him to come out here first because he's got some things he's got to do, and he's got to go off and, oh, you know what? I'm going to switch it up, guys, because we were just joined by a gentleman that got started here before all of us. And I really want to demonstrate how this, if you keep it extraordinarily simple and just follow what the leadership tells you to do and what the leadership does, then you can make your life extraordinarily simple. Because when I got started here, all I wanted to do was be able to literally cut and paste my way to my first few sales while I was figuring out my business. So I'm going to introduce John in a bit. Right now, I'm going to introduce the gentleman who is the top income runner here at Empower Network. He got started here first, so in this crowd of beautiful, brilliant online marketers that are here tonight, he was the one that made the very first sale ahead of us. So Mr. Tony Rush, leader of the Extreme Team, gentleman, par none, glorious master, come on out here.
More. I was thinking, my God, what a wonderful introduction. Who's she? I thought she was going to introduce me next. Hey guys, how are you tonight? Thanks for that warm introduction. I appreciate that. If anything, what Carla has just sort of set up there is I get to be like the example of the guy who just kept it as simple as possible, which I think you'll probably find is a theme throughout the conversation tonight. Hang on one second. A little throat clearing there. I didn't want to burst anybody's speakers. Yeah. So when I got started in this Empower Network, I'd been making money from home and crashed because the company I was in did some stupid things. And I found myself really burned out on, what you have to do to make money in normal traditional network marketing. Calling 200 cold leads a week and leaving a lot of messages and that sort of thing. So when I came to Empower Network, one of the things that I was really, really interested in was how simple could I make it? Because wouldn't it be fun if I could make a really, really big income, but I only had to work about an hour and a half a day? So that was sort of it was totally unreasonable, ridiculously unreasonable to say, oh, yes, I'd like to be in the top 1% of all American income earners, but I don't want to work more than 90 minutes a day. That's pretty unreasonable thing to say. And I might not have framed it in those words, but that's kind of what I was looking for. I was not looking to do the kind of deal where you got to work this business 10 and 12 hours a day. I'd done that, and I really wasn't looking to go back. So the nice thing about Empower Network is that the system does all the explaining for me. So the way I made my very, very first sale here, here's what I did. I actually did not have a list. So I didn't come here with I had a list, but I couldn't use it. Let me put it that way. It was old. It was beat up. I had slung everything imaginable at this list, everything from network marketing and MLM products and top tier stuff, and then just a million ClickBank, little offers and affiliate things. And so I had this list, but I knew that there was the low hanging fruit was gone, right? So for all intents and purposes, I had no list. So I joined Empower Network. I set up an AWeber account. That's an email marketing system that lets you collect the leads and send emails. And the very, very first sale that I made was probably on Facebook, maybe, but I'm not sure. So I'll tell you where I know my first sales came from. I know in that first week, I went over to a community of entrepreneurs. Now, there's a lot of them online, but here was my thinking. if you were putting together a football team, would you want just any Joe Schmo, or would you like to have football players on your team? So that was sort of in my thinking, it's like, well, if I want to sign up entrepreneurially minded people, what if I were to just go put my offer in front of a bunch of entrepreneurs? So there's a lot of these, like LinkedIn is one, Adland Pro is one that I used when I first started. I haven't used it lately, so I have no idea whether that's still a great source or not. But there's a lot of these little pockets of internet marketer or entrepreneur communities online. And the beautiful thing is that most of them have some kind of advertising option that will let you put your ad in front of their audience. So I remember I went to Adland Pro, and it was $14.95 to run an ad. And actually, it was like a solo ad. If you guys are familiar with a solo ad, it basically is a little email that you write, and they'll let you send that email to their list. And so I went over to Adland Pro. I spent $14.95, and I wrote this really tiny little email. Like the whole thing was probably, Carla, it couldn't have been more than 4 paragraphs, and every paragraph was probably 1 or 2 lines. So like probably 50 words total. You know, like I don't even remember. I won't even try to make up what I said. Maybe I can go back and find a copy of it someday. But anyway, really, really tiny little email, very fast, easy to read, and just a link, you know, next to my name. It might have said something like, this weird little ad is making me 100% commission, can make you 100% commissions or something. I can't remember. Anyway, so I ran this little $14.95 ad, and here's what happened. I think if I remember the number right, it was 82 leads that I got from that little ad. And of those 82 leads, I made about $650, which sounds crazy, I know, but we're earning these 100% commissions. So out of the 82 leads, you don't actually have to have a lot of people buying the product to make a lot of money. So you know, you figure it up. If you have like say I got 5 or 6 customers, well, you know, there's a couple $100, and then half of them bought the Inner Circle product, and that was another $300 or $400. You're right. So I mean, it was like $650 I made off that one little $15 ad. So what I did was I took some of that money, and then I ran a $50 ad. And that $50 ad, if I remember right, it got me like 100, maybe like 90 or 100 leads. It didn't do as well as that first one, but I did get another 90 or 100, maybe 110 leads. And I think that one also pulled in something around $500 or $600. So anyway, long story short, first week in the business, I spent about $65 or $75 on marketing. I got about 150 leads total, and I made over $1,000 my first week. And I could give you a longer explanation with a bunch of bells and whistles, but tonight's call is about simplicity, and that's really all I did. Nobody gave me the ad. I just wrote something that I would answer. I said, you know, hey, I would answer this ad. So I wrote up something that looked like something I would answer, and I just put it out there. And I did that a second time, and in my first week, I think it was like $1,100 I made my first 7 days. So, Carla, that's about as simple as I could make it, I think. So for me, it was paid marketing, and then I got to, but cheap paid marketing. And then I started, you know, moving stuff in like Facebook and shooting videos and that kind of thing. So anyway, I hope that's, does that clarify?
It's perfect. That's perfect. My next question real quick is then, what did you do after that to continue making sales?
Oh, great question. So what I have noticed is that finding sources of traffic is not a set it and forget it type of thing. There's some traffic sources that I've been with for months and months and months, and then there's others that, you know, they work well 2 or 3 times, and then that 4th time you can tell it's starting to slack off. So short answer to what Carl is asking, I just kept adding on new traffic sources, you know, places that I could do a similar thing, send an email to a list, run an ad on Facebook, get the ad in front of the right people, that kind of thing. But constantly watching it, because, you know, when a traffic source starts cooling off, you don't want to be left out there hanging. I think it was Dan Kennedy who said, one is the most dangerous number in business, because if you've only got one of something, when that one disappears, it's gone. So I was constantly, Carla, just adding a new traffic source, checking new things out, trying out something different. Not everything worked. I'd try something and it wouldn't work. It would bomb. And, I had $40 in an ad one time and it bombed. It's like, wow, not a single penny did I get back out of that $40. But you just got to go find another one, So it was a constant adding new traffic sources, finding what worked, getting rid of what didn't work. And 2.5 years later, it's still the same process to some degree. So it's just constantly testing and seeing what works.
You know what, you remind me of something. This isn't so true for us here in internet marketing, but the great David Ogilvy, who is a titan of the advertising Madison Avenue world, has had a famous saying. It said, 50% of your advertising works, and 50% of your advertising doesn't work. Unfortunately, we have no idea which 50%. But that was back when they did television and radio and magazines, and there was no way to track. Now, the beauty of what we have here is probably that's true sometimes for me. 50% of my advertising isn't working. But we have the opportunity with internet marketing to be able to determine pretty closely exactly what isn't working, and very, very quickly, sometimes within a day or two, turn that off and be able to redirect our efforts towards something else. So thank you so much for that, Tony. I appreciate you being here with us today. And the next person I already gave an introduction to, and I'm just taking this in order, guys, on purpose, because Tony was the very first person in this group that we have here tonight to begin his business here with Empower Network. And then I don't know how long after, but John gets to tell his own story. John Lavenia, who I met 10 years ago, as I mentioned before, got started with Tony. And so, John, come out here and talk to me about how you generated your first lead and your first sale.
All right. Well, let me see if I can remember. That was so long ago. Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you fine.
Okay, cool. And I've got a 3-year-old right over there on the couch. Maybe I'll bring the camera over there so we can all see how cute she is. She just fell asleep. But I'll tell you, that's one of the reasons why I do what I do. There's actually a bigger reason. Not that I don't love my family, okay? That's a primary reason, but there's a bigger reason. I want to start with this for a reason. There's a bigger reason that I do what I do here with the Extreme Team, which has been going since 2002. The Extreme Team started. Now it's an online community. But I can go anywhere and make money, Carla. I mean, you know that. You've seen me do that. Tony's seen me do that. The reason I do what I do is not just to support my family, because I can do that doing anything. I do this because I look around society and I see countless people like bumper cars in a bumper car ring with no direction and no knowledge about how to get where they want to go. So the Empower Network aligns beautifully with my purpose of uplifting, edifying, empowering people to get what they want. And you know what? The most valuable thing they could learn to do that, the most valuable thing they can learn, and I know this because I've been around, it's marketing. And the most valuable thing that I could learn when I got here was marketing, because here's how it happened. Here's how my first sales happened here with this opportunity. I made millions offline, and I spent millions offline. And then I was $2 million in debt, filing bankruptcy, and looking for a way to get my mojo back. Okay, that's the kind of desperation that I was in. I had 3 consecutive business failures. 3 consecutive business failures. So, sometimes I hear people say, well, I tried marketing and it doesn't work. You know what? Screw you. I mean, really, let's just get down to it. If we're going to take a swing at something, what did Wayne Gretzky say? You miss every shot you don't take. So I'm here to tell you that you miss every shot you don't take, right? I took shot after shot, swing and miss, after having already succeeded. Started wondering, am I just, what, did I get lucky or something? I mean, what the hell's going on here? So I had all this, very different than Tony. I had all this inner stuff going on. I had a serious need to have a win. I needed a win, Carla. I needed a friggin' win. here I am watching other people over and over and over again get started with the Power Network, and people are spamming me. Oh, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Next thing you know, they quit because the next sliced bread thing came up next week, and now they're on to the next deal. I mean, these are people I've got no regard for in this industry. I find something that works, I stick with it, I never let go. So here's what happened. I took 3 swings, 3 misses. My buddy Tony sends me a video. Tony will remember this video. In fact, I'd like to refer back to this video if you could find it in your archive. It was unlisted. It was just a quickie YouTube thing. And he invited me to give him a call. Tony and I had worked together in the past. He had credibility with me, okay? Because I wasn't listening to all these yahoos with their, you know, you got to do a Power Network because, you know, 100% commissions or whatever their story was about it, that they didn't even write the story. They just ripped it off from somebody else, right? Here's somebody who I knew who had some credibility with me. I didn't necessarily agree with him on everything. Tony and I still have interesting conversations sometimes. We agree on a lot of stuff. In fact, we're dangerously alike. We're really dangerous together because we could get our heads together and really just start, you know, like ripping the world apart. But because we're both philosophers. But he said, give him a call. And I give him a call. And here he was a year into this deal, what I had said no to for the past year, because I thought it was like some, you know, a couple of guys with tank tops and potty mouth. And Tony was like, look, man, I'm making this money. You know, he confided in me that he was making a certain amount of money, which was more than I required to survive and to get back on my feet. And I said, all right, man, as a courtesy to you, I'll sign up. I know I'm elongating the story, but I think you guys will find some treasure in this, okay? And then I did nothing with the business for months. Did nothing with the business because I still was on this other thing, and the third business hadn't collapsed yet. Okay, I was still holding on for dear life to the wrong life raft, and that third business collapsed. I had filed bankruptcy. I decided to do some due diligence on what should I do next, like what's the next move for John Lavenia. And I looked at between 20 and 25 companies to see what is something of substance that I could do. One of those companies, which I already had an account with, was Empower Network. How convenient. I just logged in for the first time to that account. And I tore it apart. For 2 days, I tore this thing apart, looking for why I shouldn't do it. What's wrong with this? I mean, I used to be a mechanic. I can find problems. I can find anything broken. I can find it. Okay, I'm really friggin' good at that. That's not good, by the way, for your mindset necessarily. Okay, you can always find everything that's wrong. Okay, most people out there in society can find something wrong with anything, even though there's not something wrong. They'll just make it up. I can find real problems. Okay, and here's what I found. After 2 days of serious due diligence, which I'm qualified to do because I know business, I was like, this is damn near close to perfect. I got to buy everything. I wound up selling stuff on eBay out of my closet. I had old electronics in the garage and everything. Went all in, bought everything. Here's what I did. Here's the magic, my friends. Listen, I didn't have a list. I didn't have much credibility left. I didn't have much self-esteem left. I was a broken man. I shot a video with my iPhone, not this nice iPhone 5, a 4-year-old iPhone 3GS with a dying, decrepit battery, okay? I walked my dog, and I shot a video with my iPhone. It was about 7 minutes long. It was called A Revelation, because I had had a revelation. You can find it on Google. Just type John Lavenia Revelation. You'll find the video. And I just said, you know, basically, you know what, guys, John Lavenia here. I know the last couple of years have been interesting in the home business world. So some of us have had our asses handed to us, et cetera, et cetera. I found something, and it was right under my nose for a year. I feel like a schmuck, but I'll tell you what. I found it. Click the link below this video and see this for yourself. That was the video. It took me 7 minutes to say that. I just did it quicker just now. But I sent that to anybody who would listen, Carla. Anybody who would listen. The guy who did the real estate thing that I knew from the years ago, the other people in the business that, you know, their businesses crashed too. Anybody who would listen. Had 12 people get started my first week. At least one of them went all in too. Got all my money back, right? I mean, I was in profit. I finished my first month at $5,000 without being here first, without some of the advantages that you've already heard. If you're a guest listening right now, you heard Tony had some advantages, Carla has some advantages. I had some advantages. Marketing and a big list wasn't my advantage. If I knew more about marketing, I wouldn't have gone bankrupt. Do you get that? I'm a customer here. I need to learn some stuff. okay, and I've learned, okay, and I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars, thank you, okay, but the point is that marketing is the most vital thing that people could learn. When I found out for myself, I had to sell this to me. When I found out for myself what Empower Network really was, not the sales pitch, nobody could sell this to me but me. Once I sold me, watch out, because what's my advantage? What's my strong suit? The ability to transfer enthusiasm and knowingness to another person, whether it's across the table, whether it's on a video camera, whatever. Didn't know much about marketing. I know a friggin' lot about sales. And it's actually simpler than most people think. When you've got a conviction and you can communicate that, that's what gets it sold. I don't give a damn if it's AdLand Pro, like Tony was talking. I've never made a sale on AdLand Pro. Tony said he lost $40 on an ad that didn't work. I've lost $4,000. Not in this business. In a previous business, I put $4,000 into that stupid ass registered tape network where you go to the supermarket and you buy a gallon of milk, and out comes this receipt that's like this long, and on the back of the receipt there's all those little advertisements: get a free haircut at the discount haircut place, and get a massage and whatever else. I read a biz op ad on that registered tape network. It cost me $4,000. Zero. I mean, friggin' zero. It was humiliating, okay? And so talk about not knowing much about marketing, right? So here's the thing, non-attachment. Non-attachment. If you know you got something good, run your mouth. Sell it. It's your obligation to sell it, because there's people out there right now, back to my original point, that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to how to make money online or offline in a home-based business. They call themselves network marketers. They know nothing about marketing. And if you do, and if you've got this, you've got to move it. You've got to get it into their hands, or they're going to die on the vine. They're going to go back to a job, and they're going to be another friggin' cow in the cow pasture talking about how friggin' hard life is and how nothing works for them, okay? Or they could sign up for Empower Network and learn something. Ben Franklin said it best. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Okay, I did try ignorance. It sucked. It was a living hell. Whoever said ignorance is bliss was from a different planet. Okay? Ignorance sucks. You got to learn some stuff, and you'll make it. You'll make it. Now think of it like this, and then I'll shut up, Carla, because I know I just give you a really long answer. You got a mousetrap, right? And or let's say dominoes. I was thinking mousetrap because when I was a child, there was a game called Mousetrap, and it had all these little plastic things in the ball. It flies down, and it traps the mouse. It was like a board game, but like a three-dimensional board game. Anyway, let's think about dominoes. You got dominoes, a very intricate array of dominoes, and they all go in different directions, and they do little stunts and everything else, but they all end up at the end point, which is what? The sale is made. The sale is made. The enthusiasm is transferred. The exchange takes place. Tony went this route. Here's AdLand Pro. Here's Facebook. Here's whatever. Okay, I'm not a Facebook fan personally. I spend as little time on Facebook as possible. Tony loves Facebook. The guy friggin' lives on it. I asked him, how do you do it? I don't even know. Okay, but my route was different. We both caught the mouse. You get it? So whatever your strong suit is, sell it. Sell what you got. And if you're a great communicator, run a damn video camera. If you're not, if you're afraid of video cameras, written word. Write it down, right? You're a great marketer? Well, good for you. You get to say less to more people, right? You don't have to shoot as many videos, okay? I just sell what I got, and I got some knowingness here. And that was the enthusiasm that I transferred in any way I knew how before I had even been through the products. I've got a camera, and I've got the ability to send an email. Put the two together. That's it. That's what I did. Back to you, Carla.
Well, I'm going to ask you the same question. So you made your first, you broke even. You made your first $5,000–6,000 in your first month. So once you started building a list, how did you scale that? How did you continue making sales over and over?
You take some money, you just put it back into advertising. It's just it's one of the things that we learn here as newbies. Like when you get started, let's say you're a guest right now, you're watching Carla and Tony and me and everybody who's going to talk here tonight, and you decide, sign me up for that deal. That sounds good. You pay your $25, which you can do by clicking the yellow button below the chat roll. You pay your $25. Hooray! You're a member. Now what? You get to be an affiliate, and you get to go through what's called the 8 core commitments, which are videos produced by a guy who makes about $250,000 a month, right? And one of those commitments is to market daily. So all we do is we take some of our profit, we put it back into marketing, to test, to experiment, To have a landslide victory? Well, hopefully, okay. I haven't seen that personally, not in reality anyway. You get to hear about stuff like that on internet sales pitches, where some moron pressed a button and got rich. I've never seen that work. Okay, but you scale up and you experiment and you test and you do more of what works and less of what doesn't. You mentioned David Ogilvy. 50% works, 50% doesn't. Actually, I thought it was 20% works. I'm gonna have to reread the book, but you never know which 20.
Did we lose John or did we lose me?
No, I'm here.
I'm still
Okay,
here.
cool. I think we lost John.
I thought it was me.
No, I was worried it was me because my internet connections were going on and off all day. John, are you back?
Yeah, are you hearing me now?
You just went down for maybe about 20 seconds.
Okay. But
you were talking about the 20% works, doesn't work.
Right. So you do more of what works and less of what doesn't, right? And the other thing is you sell your victories, right? You made a sale, announce it to the world, right? You're an internet marketer now. You've got 100 leads that came in this day. How many people know how to do that? How many so-called marketers in the home business world, or any world for that matter, know how to generate 100 leads a day? You show up like a damn expert when you do something like that, and that's not even a big deal. Tony mentioned solo ads. We can do 100 leads in a day. Come on, right? Anybody could do that here once you know. Okay? And once you know, now other people can know. And now you're the person they can come and buy it from. So you scale up by selling your victories and by reinvesting, profits and stuff like that. So there's your answer, Carla.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, John. I know that you have some things that you've got to get to tonight, so I appreciate your time and being here with us and your valuable, valuable opinions and experience. I wouldn't be here without you. The next person I'd like to introduce, I've also known for quite a few years. She's an amazing marketer. She's a Harvard graduate, lawyer, former franchise owner, and she came to a point in her life where some things happened along the way, and she really had to make some changes. She wanted to get out of the corporate world and spend as much time at home working a business from home with her son Michael. She got started here, and she's just cranking away. She's a bilingual, so she leads a Spanish team and an English team, and we're happy to have you here. Elena Fraga, come out here and tell us how you got started and how you made your first couple of sales.
Well, thank you, and thank you for that introduction. My God, I feel like, I don't know, I came from heaven or something. But thank you for the intro. I actually went to Harvard, no big deal, okay? It was only for graduate business courses, just in case. Some people think that I graduated from law school there, but that's subject for another conversation, right? I'm very, very excited to be here. You know that. I am not one of those big communicators. As you can hear, English is my second language. So I had to shoot a lot of videos. I was one of those people who still today shoots a video every single day, right? But I did my first sale online, and you're not going to believe this, Carla. I did my first sale with an America Online email. Okay, does anyone here still uses American Online? I do. Okay, and what I did is I just wrote an email, and I didn't know anything about Google. I didn't know anything about internet marketing. Okay, I wanted to learn. I needed to learn, as Carla said. At that time, I was sick with a disease. I had to be home full time, etc., etc. And so in any case, I wrote this email, and that email came from my heart. I basically put it out there. Hey, guys, I remember the subject line was to all my friends and family, okay? And the email said something like, hey, guys, I'm sorry that all these years I have missed pretty much every barbecue that you did, or every party, and the weddings, and all the get-togethers. And I'm sorry about that, but I'm very happy that I just found something that I can do from home. And I'm very excited that I now have the potential to replace my income working from home. I basically said it as it was to whoever received my email on America Online. And you know what? That's the way I made my first $14,000 day, believe it or not. At that time, that was a long time ago. And so I guess, I mean, it happened to me when I first started in the industry, so it built my belief, right? When you first do something, it doesn't matter what you do. And that's my belief. You know me, I'm an ignorant on fire, although I'm not ignorant now, but I was ignorant at that time. So I tend to take a lot of action. So if I can just write an email, let's say you come here to the team and you don't know anything about internet marketing. That's why you're here. You're here to learn. That's fine. That's great. Get your 15K and immerse yourself in that, in all the products. But when you first come in, you don't know anything about marketing yet, just as I was, right? So what I did is I just took whatever action I could take at that time with the skills that I had at that time. So basically wrote the email, sent it, and I remember that America Online actually blocked my email because I sent it to 200 people, right? Whoever was on my email address received it. So they blocked me, and I sent it again a couple of days later, and I got another sale. So it built my belief even more. And then I went into the internet marketing courses, and I spent a lot of money, right, trying to learn how an autoresponder worked and how to create an email marketing campaign that worked. And I spent a lot of money learning how to do Google AdWords at that time. Do not try that now, okay? But at that time, was very popular. And so right now here in Empower, we don't need to spend money on that. All we need to do is just invest in the products, get the education, apply the information, and get paid. And get paid very well. So we just do that and do it. And here in Empower, Carla, my first sale, even though I knew a lot about internet marketing when I came in, okay, granted, I started with 0 list because when I came to Empower, I was actually working another business. And so I could not go and pitch people from that business to bring them here. That made no sense. So I started from 0, nada. So what I did is I took the experience that I had when I first came to the industry 7 years ago, and I wrote a text message. And the text message said something like, hey, it doesn't matter what business you are in, you gotta see this, or something like that, right? And I sent it one by one to whoever I found on my phone, okay? And I share my enthusiasm, just as John was saying, because if my vision is to reach 1 million people, help 1 million people around the globe to have better quality of life, that's what I'm here for, right? When I first came to the industry, my biggest vision about success was to just be able to make enough money so that I don't lose my house, basically, right? But after that, my vision is to really help 1 million people, Spanish and also in English. So what I'm trying to say is that there is no time to waste, right? If I can just send one by one, I send one by one, it doesn't matter. And then what I did, I prepared my campaigns. I did one by one so that I could generate enough leads right away, first day. And I did. And I made my first sale like 2 hours after I joined Empower Network, okay? Like right away, which was really nice. And then, I prepare my campaigns just like what we learn here in the 15K, in the master's course, right? And I, prepare it, test it, put it out there, and everything good. I started making money right away because I took imperfect action right away. Does that make sense, Carla? And you know me, I'm the queen of simplicity. So we'll say it as it is.
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. I think that, not sure when you got started, but I think we got started just about about the same time here at Empower. And I know that you build your business probably the same way. Well, I'll ask you, do you build your business the same way that, and scale your business up the same way that John and Tony do?
I do. I actually do. I invest about 30% of what I make in marketing.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Elena. And hang in there. We might have questions at the end, and we can field questions. And you know, here's what happened to me. My story is oddly similar to John's. I had this crazy idea. I had become an entrepreneur back in 2004. I had the great pleasure of working with all of you between 2004 and 2010 when a company that we were affiliated with, as Tony said, made some really horrendous decisions and we all had to leave. And I had built a business of my own between 2011 and 2013 when I got started here. And I just thought that was going to be the greatest idea ever, that I would build a business of my own. Well, that wasn't a great idea. It was a horrible idea. It was worse than having a job. I was working 24/7, and I was on the phone all the time. As an entrepreneur, I've always built my business through prospecting on the phone. And maybe some of you have been in network marketing or multi-level marketing companies, or even in corporate America. I know when I was in corporate America, I helped the companies that I was working with by calling customers on the phone and going to visit them via my car or planes or trains and automobiles, right? But I had been prospecting on the phone for 4 or 5 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week for many, 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 many years. And as of December 2012, I walked into my husband's office and I said, Don, I just can't. I can't do it anymore. I am completely and totally burned out. I don't even like the people I'm talking to on the phone, right? I don't even want to talk to them. And that is a really bad place to be if you and your company make money by bringing customers in by speaking to them on the phone. And so I'm the luckiest girl in the world. We had no idea how we were going to make an income at that point. We had sunk hundreds of thousands of dollars in 2 years of my time into starting this company. But Don said, you know what? I totally recognize where you are. You aren't happy. You aren't where you want to be. This wasn't what we had planned as far as how we were going to build our lives. And so I totally support you in opting out of the company that you had co-founded. So I did that and was determined that I was never gonna go be in another business opportunity again. I was gonna make my own products and write books and speak and all this other stuff. But I had spent all those years from 2004 until the end of 2012 figuring out, get this, how to generate a whole 50 leads a week. Because if you have 50 serious people that are waiting for your phone call, you can really only have a meaningful conversation with about 50 people. And of course, you know, as the week goes by, you leave messages, and the week before, people call you back, right? So you're on the phone. If you're on the phone for 4 hours a day, for me, that's about as many people as I could actually meaningfully connect with. So I actually had these leads coming in. So I really felt this obligation that first of all, I had invested all this time in learning how to generate these whopping 50 leads, right? And I knew how to do that, and I thought, well, there must be some way I can monetize these leads, right? They're already coming in. There must be somewhere I can send them, and then they can go work this other business while I go do my other stuff, right? I don't want to actually work a business. So I went and looked at, in that January of that year, I probably looked at, I had seen so many businesses before that, but I probably seriously looked at about 10 to 20 different businesses, and the whole categories of businesses I threw out that were just not interested in. I was not interested in. And I had, of course, like John, I had seen all of these, as he called them, yahoos, trying to market Empower, and I say trying on purpose, trying to market Empower Network, because they were just doing a horrible job. But I knew I had an advantage. Here's my advantage. I already knew and respected Tony and John. So I knew that I needed to take another look at this. And I had seen so many other individuals, a couple of things. I'd seen so many other individuals from so many other business opportunities get started with Empower Network and that had never been successful before start to make money and Empower. Well, that is a huge thing, right? If so many other people can actually perform and have results at something, that piques my interest. That gives me some reason to look at something. Also, I'd seen not all, but many of the big time internet marketers get started one by one here at Empower. So then that also pricked up my ears. Like, okay, so these big dudes, right? These Russell Brunsons and all these big names were getting started at Empower, and I thought, okay, so there's got to be something going on there. So I watched the sales video, and it's very different sales video than it is today. But I was like, oh my gosh, really? It's not quite my style, but let's see. So I got started, dipped my toe in, and the other thing that was really, really attractive to me was that there was no prospecting. This is a 21st century business, conducting business, leveraging technology to do the heavy lifting, right? So I did not have to lift. I don't even have I have an iPhone. I didn't have to lift up my phone and talk to anybody, right? If I could learn how to drive traffic, I could do this business. So I originally intended just to send my leads over and have them be mentored by the Extreme team. But obviously once I got here myself, I looked under the hood. I sold myself on the business, understood how I could leverage my time and still have a life and work this business that I got started. So here's how I made my first sale. That was a really long preamble to how I made my first sale. So very much the same as John, I could not, the company that I had worked with and co-founded was still in business, so I could not go poach from them. I certainly had a very, very old list. I did have these little 50 leads coming in every week, but for those of you in this business, you know that that's nothing, right? That's not very many leads at all. So what I did is a couple of things. First of all, the first thing I did was I made a video. And actually, I made it really poorly, and I made the big mistake of doing it this way, right? However I did it. I did it incorrectly. So it comes up with this little teeny little vertical thing with me talking about why I got started. And I sent it to everyone I knew. Does this sound like we were all following in the footsteps of each other? It should, right? Because that's all I did. And all I said was, hey, I've got this new gig. I'm really excited about it. It's the first thing I've been really excited about it in a really long time. It has the leadership I'm looking for, the income capability I'm looking for. Regular Joes can do this. Take a look at it and let me know what you think. And I sent it to everyone I could think of. And my first week, I believe it was in my first week, 2 people got started with me without me talking to them. And I remember Skyping John going, oh my gosh, 2 people got started with me, and I didn't even have to talk to them. So I was sold from that day forward. And at that point, what I did is there's a couple of things that I did a little bit differently than the guys here. The Extreme team, when you get started, and if you aren't started and you're watching this Hangout, just press the yellow button on the page below and get started. Get your $25. Do exactly what we did. Look under the hood, bang the tires, kick the tires, whatever you need to do to sell yourself on this, because it is darn next to perfect, as John says. So what I did is the Extreme team, we use a company called AWeber, which manages all of our email follow-up system. And so that sounds really complicated if you're brand new or if you aren't in EmpowerNet yet, but it actually isn't, because the Extreme team gives you a proven set of emails. The emails can be preloaded into your Aweber so that you don't have to think about that, right? When I first got started, I didn't want to have to think about writing emails and writing all those follow-up emails. I was given a set of emails that were already proven to work, that I could load it up into that system that would automatically follow up with my prospects for me so that I don't have to follow up with them myself. But the one thing that I did was a little bit different, because I believe, and I think this is just obvious, that people get started with people they what? They know, like, and trust. KLT, I think it's called, or something like that. Right? People get started with people they know, like, and trust. So all I did, and I did this one time, and then I did it one time like a year later, is I went in and I put a few more videos in my follow-ups, right? So that one is like, check me out, I'm real, Google me, go to my Facebook page, blah, blah, blah. And I just put videos that I personalized my emails a little bit more, because I wanted to be able to have my prospects get to know me as quickly as possible so that they knew, like, and trusted me, so that they would get started with us here at the Extreme Team. So I did that, and then I started going through the 15K formula. I bought a couple solo ads. I didn't have a lot of money to spend when I got started here. We were basically broke, had to borrow some of the cash to go all in, but we did that. And the rest is history. And exactly like the rest of you that have been on this webinar, Tony, John, Elena, I take a percentage of, actually I take as much money as I can to dump back into my marketing, because I'm looking to scale as quickly as possible and to continue scaling as quickly as possible, because the more prospects that come into the sales funnel, the more sales come out the bottom, and that's true for any business on the planet, especially a business like this that can scale, right? So with that said, I'm going to bring out our final speaker of the evening. I don't even know what to say. He's the best person in the whole wide world. Don Silver, come on here. My husband, by the way.
I like that. Best person in the whole wide world. I'll take that one. That's cool. So thanks. That's a good intro. I'm gonna hold you to that one. So what do I get to talk about? I get to talk about not making sales, because Carla did the making sales. I want to talk about my role in our team. We've been in business together with Tony and John and the other opportunity, and when the world fell in on us, we shared the same fate and bumped into John and a couple other things that didn't work. And Carla and I were on the path of doing separate things. And I saw her being in Empower as a great thing. And I thought it was terrific, as part of our family income. This is something that I really liked and really enjoyed, and it was her business, and I was really supportive. And she went to Chicago last year in the snow. I remember in the snow. And no way was I going to go in the snow. So she went by herself, and then she bought tickets to Denver to include me. And so I went to Denver about a year ago with the expectation that I was going to go and hang out and see John and Elena and Tony and a whole bunch of other people that we've known over the years, and I was going to, play the game of seeing people and just, sort of participating in that way. And I really remember on Friday night, and it was Dave Wood on stage in his flip-flops and his kind of ratty-looking shorts and his tank top, and he's talking about things, and he used the words that are indelled in my brain. You do this business as yourself. You don't have to show up as what somebody else thinks you should be. And I'm sitting there in the seat and I'm going, but, oh, wow. And so this was Friday night, and by Sunday we figured out that one family, one entity in Empower, so it was going to be shared, and we worked out the pattern with which we would share the load so that we were both Empower. And I, it's the greatest thing, because I get to bring to the table my brain and my thoughts and ideas and input and stuff, and we do things together, and we travel together, and we are going to Charlotte together. And my role in our team, I guess I would say, is not partly the technical stuff, but a lot of it is the brain candy, the mindset of entrepreneur, the way of thinking that such that today's actions are different from yesterday's actions, so that today's actions can result in today's outcome. So that's sort of my portion that I bring to the table. And as most of you know, I get to do the Thursday morning call, so I don't want to divulge too much about what's going to be tomorrow morning, but it's going to be a good one. and
Oops, we've lost Don. I was talking and I realized that I was muted. Okay, guys, I just want to look and see if there's I see we're closing in. Gosh, I can't believe we've been talking for an hour. Closing in on the hour. Anybody have any questions at all? I realize we have a lag. And anybody want to jump out and add anything to the conversation? Tony, John, Elena?
Hey,
Hey,
John.
this is Tony.
I guess everybody does.
Okay. No, John first. Age before beauty. I think I'm like 2 weeks older than Tony, or something like that, or 6 months or something.
Age before beauty. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I got more gray hair than you. I just don't use Grecian formula as often.
Mine's not changing color. Mine's not turning color. It's turning loose.
Okay, well, I'm not going to have that problem. I got that thick Italian hair. I got to actually shave my body. Anyway, story for another time.
TMI, John.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. Carla, you said that you respected John and Tony. I said that I respected Tony. He had credibility with me. Elena alluded to the same sort of a thing. You mentioned KLT, know, like, and trust, which is kind of a cliche in our industry, but quite valid. If I could wave, here, hold on, I got my wallet right here. And since I'm a biker, it's got a chain on it. Okay. All of you watching right now, you are being hypnotized, and you are, right now, you are understanding that everything you just heard on this webinar, you can know, like, and trust. These are people of credibility. Stop deliberating with yourself and just click the friggin' button at the bottom of this page and get started. Now, here's why I'm doing that. Okay, I don't know if that actually worked, right? I don't know if that's the hypnotic selling secrets like David Wood talks about. Some of the stuff he talks about is just so far out. But here's the point. If you knew, I'm talking to our guest now, I'm talking to you, the person who's here on the sidelines. Maybe I invited you, maybe Carla, right? Maybe somebody who you're seeing in the chat roll there who's participating with our chat, right? If I could just transfer to you the level of knowingness, the level of confidence, the respect of the, I don't want to say the word authority, that sounds like Cartman from South Park. You got to respect my authority, right? But if you did, in fact, respect the authority of the people that you've just heard from tonight, if you had enough confidence to just drop any hesitation or inhibition about, you know, who can I trust, you know, and all the stuff that keeps people stopped and causes them to avoid committing to something that could be of benefit to them, that could move you to a whole new plateau in your life. If I could just transfer that to you, that you have found a rare and powerful and super high integrity group of people that not only have your best interest, but have the opportunity that is most reliably delivering results and benefits to people. Is it a free ride? No, it's not a friggin' free ride. Okay, but it's real. If you want something real and you want to work with real people who you can respect and you can learn from and you can have confidence in their authority, right? This is it. Please don't waste any more time. The clock is ticking. We're getting together in Charlotte in a week. I'm flying across this country to go speak in Charlotte and hang out with a couple thousand of my closest friends and launching EN Phase 2. The timing couldn't be better. Look, I could go on and on and on, but here's the thing. I could just tell you your most precious resource. We've been talking about money. Oh, we're all so friggin' broke when we got started. Okay, that's nice. Your most precious resource is your time. Please do not squander another moment of it. If there's anything I could give you, it's that. Click the button and do this. If it took you 6 months to become successful in online marketing, well, you know what? You're going to get 6 months older anyway. You might as well become successful in online marketing and learn something and never have to go backwards. Okay? There's my suggestion based on everything that I just heard. The common denominator here is credibility and trust. And we all had it with each other. We want you in the inner circle. We want you in this group. We want you to also be that credible person so that when Bob Bozo the clown out there who doesn't even know that entrepreneurism exists and he decides that he hates his boss at his job, that you've got something powerful to tell him. That's not going to happen if you don't get started. Do that. Thank you.
Okay,
Hey,
I think Tony Rush comes next.
Yeah, I'll just be really brief. One of the things that really struck me after hearing it, because I know all these stories, but hearing them in the context of the topic that Carla has sort of framed tonight's conversation in, good Lord, I think if I were sitting in the audience tonight hearing this for the first time, the thing that would strike me most powerfully is it's not as hard to make money as I've been led to believe. You know, CNN and the media and the newspapers and the magazine, they all talk about, you know, there's not a lot of money out there, times are tight, and all, you know, and everywhere you turn, your peer group, you know, your friends, your family, the people on your job, they're all complaining about how hard it is to make money. Well, yeah, it's hard to make money for them because they're doing something that just doesn't pay really well. You know, like they're engaged in a business model that just doesn't pay well. And so if I was sitting in this audience tonight listening to all these different diverse stories, I think the thing that would strike me is look how simply serious people just went and did one thing. Like me, I ran an ad, a $15 ad, affordable, like a single mom on welfare could afford to run a $15 ad. You know, Elena made a video to family, sent an email rather to family and friends. John shot a video walking his dog with his iPhone. I mean, like, you guys heard all the stories. We don't have to go through them again. But the point is, every one of these actions produced a result. And then once you've got a result, you can build on it. So, like, none of us started making tens of thousands of dollars a week in our first week. We started by making $25 on our first sale, and then another $25. Oh, and then somebody bought the inner circle. Oh, and now I'm up to $150 for the week. And then we built on it, and then all of a sudden we had our first $1,000 week or our first $1,000 day. And then all of a sudden it's just grown. And you stay on it, you keep tweaking it like Carla talked about, and you just stay at the task. You don't get up, you don't get distracted, you don't engage in the shiny object syndrome. You know, you just keep showing up and doing the thing without distraction. And all of a sudden you look up one day and you realize, holy smoke, I'm one of those people now. I'm one of those people that go and host webinars, and people are looking at me saying, wow, how did you get all the way up there on the income mountain? And, yeah, so tonight's been a nice little retrospective, I think, to just look back and think, wow, we all got started with very simple decisions, and we took really simple actions. And I dare say that there's not a single person watching this live or on replay who can't do exactly what you guys heard us talk about tonight. So if I were in the business already, I would be encouraged. Wow, making money in Empower Network is not going to be a difficult thing. And if I was not in Empower Network, I really would just hit the yellow button down below and just get in and discover for yourself that making money from home is not the uphill battle that a lot of people have made it out to be. So, Carla, thanks for setting the call up tonight. Thanks for this great topic, and thanks for all you do. Thanks for inviting me to share my story. I appreciate it.
And thank everybody here on the panel. Elena, any final words? Just want to make sure to give you an opportunity. You're good?
No, I'm looking forward to see you guys next week in Charlotte. I'm actually I got a new car yesterday, a Panamera, black, love it. And I'm gonna drive to Charlotte to see you guys. Panamera, you know what a Panamera is?
Yeah, it's a Porsche.
Yeah, So I got it yesterday, and I'm gonna drive to Charlotte. So it's gonna be a fun drive. And I will see you guys there next week, and looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to seeing all of you, and all of you that are on the team, and all of you that aren't on the team. Get yourselves to Charlotte. Well, you have to get on the team first, and then get yourself to Charlotte. You'll get to meet us all in person, as well as all the other top income earners at Empower Network, and that's what the greatest way that I can think of to kick off your business. So it's been our pleasure to be here with you this evening. Thank you so much for my co-hosts, to all of my co-hosts this evening. And let's go and make Extreme Team the biggest and baddest team here at Empower Network. Night, everybody.